Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome to Buckfastleigh. We're back again for our regular Sunday afternoon live video slot. We did have a break last week because our team were very busy getting ready for the site reopening to the public, which we'll tell you about a bit more in a moment. So we're just waiting for a few more of you to join us this afternoon. We've got a very special behind-the-scenes tour with our South Devon Railway engineering workshops today. Should be very interesting. We're just out at the back end of the workshop at the moment. Okay, so over to Alan, who's going to introduce for us again. Hello, Alan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the South Devon Railway, as Ernie has already said. It is a bit of a big weekend for us. We've taken the step of opening the site to visitors here at Buckfastleigh. We still don't believe we can actually run trains that will bring us in enough revenue to cover the costs. So for the time being, we're still not running trains, but we do have the site open and visitors are now beginning to come in. We had probably around about 100 yesterday. It's looking very much as if we're going to get a similar number today. And I'm very pleased to say they're being very generous with their donations for entry. So the kiosk is also open in the car park, so there's refreshments available, and the shop is also open too. So Saturdays, Sundays, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock. If you're in Devon, come and see us, and you'll be made most welcome. You can see part of the walking route behind me, this is the end of the route, coming down past the carriage shed, in front of or rather behind the workshop and out through the exit. You can see there are barriers in place. The public are being kept safely behind. It's a one-way route, so nobody has to conflict with anybody else. So far it seems to work extremely well, I'm pleased to say. So thank you to all our stewards, our volunteers, all of whom seem to be very glad to be back doing something. There's a great atmosphere here and a good spirit. But enough of that. We have a treat for you today. We have probably the greatest expert we have amongst the team, who's going to talk to you about what goes on in our engineering workshop. And if there's something, if you've got a few questions for him, please do ask them. I'm sure there's very little he doesn't know about what goes on in here. So without further ado, we'll hand over to none other than Richard Elliott.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, yes, hello everybody. Well, after that cracking introduction, I'm in trouble, aren't I? Rob Le Chevalier is the chap who knows everything, but I have picked up an awful lot along the way over many years. So welcome to our workshop here, and we're starting off with me stood upon a little old turntable, which is an interesting exhibit. It's a very practical piece. Came from the Morris Cowley car factory in Oxford and was donated to us virtually, cost of transport. We've installed it here, and whilst it's little, it can actually turn 1369, and it's meant to be a wagon turntable. But we use this for posting boilers into the new boiler shop behind us. So let's just wander into the boiler shop if we can, and we'll see what the current projects are. Right, this way, Aaron. Come around the front of this little piece. Looks like some sort of cross dog at the minute, doesn't it? With the eyes and things. It's
Come over this side.
Yeah, come over. Yeah, whichever is the best view. This is the new inner firebox that's really almost complete for Blackmore Vale, Bulley Pacific on the Bluebell Railway. The last few bits of welding to be done to it, then we shall be having it tested and all the welds tested, and it'll be off back to Bluebell Railway. We've been making a whole series of these fireboxes for various owners of Bulley Pacifics. We've got one more to do, which is for Braunton 34046, still running around on the main line, but they've ordered a new inner firebox to have in stock for when it needs it, which is good. Now all the parts of this firebox have been manufactured in the shop here, using all various die sets, things that we got for pressing the fronts and backs and sides. And we're going to take a look at the John Shaw press in a moment, which is what we use to press the part. But let's walk around the back of this boiler and see a bit more. Well, this is the fire hole door end, as you can see, on the inner firebox. That matches up to the outer fire hole door on the outer firebox. These boilers these fireboxes are all steel, which was an innovation by Oliver Bulleid, which is more or less new to this country. Most fireboxes are copper, which is a really good material. The odd thing about the Bulleid design is it's actually got a foundation ring, sort of a channel goes right the way around the firebox, instead of a solid foundation ring. Well, that was something that was used just on the West Countries and Battle of Britons. Right, let's move off to the other end of the works.
As we go, just say hi to James Escoff, John Davis, Mark Simpson, Paul Newland, Dave Withing, Dave Higgs and Ian Sells.
Right, okay, sitting on the big slab here is the firebox end tube plate for Braunton. So we pressed that on the John Shaw press, which we just took out in a mo, and it's all been drilled up, ready to have its tubes and flues added. To the left-hand side of the works there are the thermic siphons. Thermic siphons were a specific thing to West Countries, Battle of Britons and merchant navies in this country. It's something that Mr. Bulleid picked up as an American idea. It increases, they're in the firebox, and they increase the heating area for the transfer of heat from the fire into the water. Create a lot more steam, which is one of the things that made them really free steaming locos. Now turn your camera to the left, Ernie, and this is the John Shaw press, which is the main and biggest item we've got in this works, which we acquired from Roger Pridham's works when we took it over down in Tavistock back 10 years ago, I suppose now. Roger decided it was time to retire, and he wanted to sell the business, so he told us we had to buy it, and so here it is. Magic thing, it'll exert up to 900 tons, and the bed comes up out of the ground. There's as much of this machine under the ground as there is above, because of all the hydraulics and so on below. And mounted at the top is one of the parts of a die set that we're about to set up to press something that we haven't quite done. It's got vicing grounds in the bed, 4 of those, which means you can clamp the steel that you want to press in place with a vicing plate, and then it won't move, and the lower bed comes up past the die set, and you end up with something folded to shape. We've got a big furnace out the back, an oven that we heat the plates up to red hot, and then post them into the press via the forklift truck. So that's always a bit exciting, because that's how we do it, rather than having to manhandle them to. Right. I'm just about to fall over. Another big pile of pieces here. One of the things that we've been doing in the works the last year or so is making spare parts for Mark I carriages. As you know, Mark I carriages are getting on a bit, and we found there's an awful lot of wear and tear in our coaches and in a lot of other people's coaches. We're now pressing complete sets of plates for ends of Mark I's. This is a pile of parts that's going off to another customer somewhere. very shortly. And it's been another arm to our business, which is good.
We'd say hi to Gareth, who's from the he's one of our stewards today. He's down in the Leamore shed, so we reckon he's probably the closest person watching this broadcast at the moment.
Oh, is
hi,
he?
Gareth.
Yes, right. Good. If I shout loud enough, you'll be able to hear.
Yes, indeed. Also, hello to Chris Hambley, Ethan Waller, Mark Hallett.
Right, let's go into the main works now. We can see what goes on in there. Well, a bit dingy in here, but I'm told that it will be absolutely fine. This we call A shop, sort of recalling the grand days of Swindon, where A shop was the erecting shop that was huge. Was the biggest, one of the biggest buildings, workshops in the world at one stage. But it looks pretty good here, and you get a bit of a clue as to one of our expertises here. Obviously, boilers is one. I think wheels is the other. We can do absolutely anything to a set of wheels in this works. We put together quite a few brand new sets of wheels for various new build locos, and we're into overhauling anything that needs doing. Quite a lot of our work is for other heritage railways, obviously steam engines and wheels up to we use 6'8" we can deal with in here, but a lot of our work now is for train operating companies on retiring class 37s and class 47s, class 20s that are still running around on the system. All our wheel work is covered by what we call the RESAS scheme, Railway Industry Safety and Standards. We have got certification for doing elements of wheel work. In particular, fitting tyres to Gibson ring fitted wheel sets. Gibson ring fitted wheel sets were specifically something that the Great Western did. All their steam engines, all carriages are all the tyres are fitted on with Gibson rings to locate them. But we'll look at that in a moment when we get round to that side of the works. The track here that's virtually covered in wheels isn't completely covered in wheels because we've got our 042 tank in here, 1420. Down the end there, the chassis is well advanced, and the one thing that it really needs is a new boiler. And we've got nearly all the parts for constructing the new boiler, which will be done in the boiler shop in due course. At the minute, with this lockdown, we've been concentrating on contract work to help bring funds in to keep the railway going. So let's go around the other side now, and we'll look at...
Just as we go, we'll say hi to Darryl Barnes, who remembers Pridham's at Tavistock. And a question has been asked, are the wheels from 40145 here?
Good question. Yes, I think the answer is there were some things that had to be done on them, but I can't quite remember the story. We retired a class 40, we retired 2 class 40s, yeah, can't quite remember the story, but I think they came back for us to do something to them extra. I think we've done it, and they've gone on their way. Yeah, lots of stuff in here at the minute. There are upwards of 50 or 60 wheel sets. We'll stop and look at this lathe here whilst we're going by. This marvellous machine we call the Old Girl. Dates from 1895, and it came to us from Exmouth Junction engine shed up in Exeter, and Dark Valley installed it back in the late 70s, early 80s. We've modernised it now. It used to be exceedingly noisy and did about 3 RPM, but we've got a new 3-phase motor on it and a new gearbox, and it's a lot quieter and it goes twice as fast. We've set it up with hydraulic copying heads, which are these bits of kit here and here, and you put a template in it, and the machine then just follows the template and puts the very precise running profile onto the set of wheels, and you can do two sides at once, which is marvellous. So it's sort of quadrupled the speed of the machine. The set of wheels in there at the moment are from an 08 shunter that needs reprofiling and some other work on the outside cranks. This is the outside crank. Well, they've all got outside cranks, but you see the big gear wheel, but then the old-fashioned spoke wheels, so that dates them somewhat. Right, let's take a little trip round and look at this machine here.
Just as we do, hello to Brian Condick, Joe Lewis. This must be a bit of a different workshop to the one you're usually used to, Joe. Samuel Strong wants to see 1420. Hopefully we'll see that towards the end.
Yes, we're going round. It's the finale. It's 1420. Probably better if you come over here a little bit early. You can see the bed of the machine. This is the horizontal borer. We put the blank tyres on this machine to bore out the internal dimensions. The internal dimensions on the inside, ready to have the wheel set drop back in them after the wheel set's been prepared. Very busy machine, this one. It's one of the few machines that we actually bought that didn't come from an outside railway workshop. So behind you, a couple of blanks waiting to go through the machine. The blank tyres generally come to us from South Africa, which is a bit surprising, really. There are other facilities in Europe. There's, I think you can get them from Germany, you can get them from Spain, you can get them from Romania, but they're not half as good as the ones that you get from South Africa. We can rely on them very much to produce them to exactly the precise measurements that we send and tell them. Delivery is about 12 weeks from South Africa, which isn't too bad, because in the nature of railway preservation, or even the nature of train operating companies, that's not too bad. Everybody's planning well ahead for what needs to be done. Cost-wise, tyre like this is somewhere in the region of £1,000 to £1,500. The big ones for A4s and LMS coronations or something like that, you're looking at £3,500 for the blank. So it's quite an expensive business. Right, moving on then, we'll go around the corner past the forklift trucks that are around the other side of this one.
Many people apparently missed us last week. It was, yes, we did have to take a bit of a break. It was rather a lot of work to do to get the site ready, so that's why we had to miss a week, unfortunately. But hello as well to Colin, Patrick and Stefan Fancourt.
Right, okay, we're now at the tyre hearth area, which is the sort of heart of the reprofiling, retiring section. Sat in the middle of the tyre hearth is one we did earlier, one we made earlier. It's for Blue Peter. We're in the process of retiring the tender wheel sets for Blue Peter, and they're being fitted in the traditional LNER method, where having shrunk the tyres on, they will then be riveted as well. They put a rivet through the wheel set, through the tyre, and that makes sure it doesn't move. Now, the Great Western Railway, which I did allude to a bit earlier, uses a system with a Gibson ring, which is a giant circlet. If you look on the wall over there, Ernie, that's a Gibson ring that's ready. But I think they put it out specially for me to tell you about it. It fits in the back of the tyre in a groove, and then the whole wheel set is taken from the hearth, having heated the tyre, dropped the wheel set back in it, allowed it to cool for not more than about 5 minutes. Then the tyre and the wheel set are moved into the machine next to you, which is the Gibson ring rolling machine. You can move these two sections outwards to give you the right size for whatever size wheel set you're fitting the tyres to. It sits on those two rollers there, and the head bears down on the back of the tyre and crushes the back of the tyre over the Gibson ring, thus locking it inexorably in position so it will not come off. We've got a couple of examples here of how tyres are fitted. The LNER ones, obviously, whilst they were common in days of old, are now quite a rarity, but we're authorised to fit riveted tyres. We're also authorised to fit, and we're the only place authorised to fit Gibson ring fitted tyres. Here is a cross section. The yellow painted piece is the Gibson ring. This is the spoke of a wheel, that is the tyre. The press crushes the back of that tyre over the specially shaped Gibson ring. The only way to get that tyre off that wheel now is to physically machine the back of that tyre off, which is the first process we have to do to any tyre that's going to be replaced on a Great Western steam loco or carriage set. Now, other railways, for instance the Southern, had this very simple method of what they call a double snip. It's got a small lip there and a big lip there. You heat the tyre up to usually about 230 degrees centigrade is enough to expand a tyre sufficiently to drop the wheel set vertically into the tyre. It sits on the bottom shelf there. You switch the gas off, go and have a cup of tea, come back in the morning, and it will be firmly in place. So that's the simple double snip method. Right, moving on. Hope we're not making it all too complicated. We'll have a look at a set of LNER wheels that we just happen to have got sat here. You can even see the magic letters LNER. This is one of the tender wheel sets out of Blue Peter, and the tyre up there is being prepared, ready to go on this wheel set. You see the holes through the wheel, the outer circumference of the wheel pan, and through which the rivets go, and which then are hold it in place inexorably. It even says Blue Peter on it, just to prove it. Right, we're going to go out round this little lot of old stuff. Old stuff. This is new stuff, actually. This is something that is different. This is one of the reasons that a lot of railway works doing this kind of thing have closed down. The wheel on this is a one-piece item. Monoblock, it's called. It's a monoblock wheel set. It does not have a separate tyre. It's all part of the same piece. They're out of a diesel shunter, an 080 diesel shunter from I think a steel works or an oil works, and we've been pleased to put new tyres on, which we've done, and we've profiled them to the correct profile. They're just a straight push-on fit. Oh, that it were so simple. What they didn't tell us when they sent us the wheels was, oh, the gearbox is on it as well. That weighs about 1.5 tons, and had 50 gallons of oil in it. But we dealt with all that, and we managed to machine them, press it on, profile the tyres, all with this great lump sat in the middle. It's a bit of a challenge, but we're good at that. That's what we're here for. Right, moving on down here.
Hi to Graham Stocker, And Gareth Barnard apparently saw the Gibson ring fitting being done by us. It was repeated on yesterday's channel on Sky TV.
Was it?
Apparently.
Yes, yes.
So,
We're famous for it. I think they called Rob Le Chevalier Richard Elliott then. So they got it a bit wrong.
I said you were the experts.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Yeah. So these are out of an M7 from the Swanage. We're reprofiling that and doing the journals and so on their wheels, very old set, but we'll make them go again. That's what it's all about. Right, wheel lathe. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I wonder what that says. Oh yeah, Swanage M7. Swanage M7 30053. Yeah, that's the one. So that's the little wheels out the back. It's in 044. Yeah, that's one of the rear bogey wheels. So that's being profiled in this wheel lathe. It'll do up to around 3'10", I think, in diameter in this wheel lathe. It's much faster than the old girl that we looked at earlier. It again, it's got hydraulic copying heads on the other side. You can see with all the handles and things that work the hydraulics, and you put the correct profile piece in there and it follows it. Spits it out at the end. Our machines, very clever they sound, but there are machines elsewhere in the country you can put a set of wheels in and they can profile them in 3.5 minutes. This will take Gary, our machinist here, probably half a day to do, but it's specialist stuff. That's the thing. Right, moving on. Lots more wheels. Can't remember who these are. Big inside crank ones. A big clue on there, I expect, somewhere. Oh yeah, it's the M7. It's the big wheels out of the M7. Here on the end is another set of wheels. This is the journal turning lathe. It is specifically designed to use this end of the machine to machine the journals, either the outside journals or inside journals, whichever they happen to need to be doing. We can also deal with the back-to-back measurements. Wheels have to be 1,362 millimeters apart to give you the correct back-to-back measurement, and that can be done on this machine. We can also do work on the outside. Sometimes we'll reduce the diameter of a tyre more quickly on this machine than putting it in a wheel lathe. This machine came from Eastleigh, and as is common with most of the machines in here, came from some old railway works or other. We need to now go and have a little look at the wheel press. Are we all right for time, Alan?
For another 5 minutes or so.
Oh, right, that should be about right then. So here's the wheel press. Originally it came out of Crew Works, and it was bought by Severn Valley. I'm sure they won't mind me mentioning that. Sat there unused for a long, long time, till Rob spotted it one day and thought we can make use of that. We need it to help complete the facilities that we can offer here at Buckfastleigh. It's a hydraulic machine. We've modernised it. It's now got electronic readouts on it. It uses hydraulic oil. Originally, at Crew, it used a water-operated pump. That's the business end. It's a strange little job there that's waiting completion. We're just waiting for the axle to turn up. It's off a tram from Birkenhead, and so that's a different job. But under the wraps here, top secret, is the crank axle for the new build G5044 that's being assembled. They've got the boiler, they've got most of it done. They're doing the wheels and things last rather than the boiler last. So that's another little project in the next few weeks. Right. Round the corner over here is the quartering machine. Nothing actually on it. This is a quartering machine. It is the only working quartering machine left in the country, and it's used specifically to ensure that your crank pins are exactly at 90 degrees to each other. You mount your wheel set on the two stands, and it's got the two machining heads, one that side, one that side. They're set at 90 degrees, and you can therefore get your crank pins absolutely spot on. Vital if you want your steam engine to run smoothly. What else do we need to say about this machine? Came from Doncaster Works, that's right. LNER Works at Doncaster. Donated to us by the current operators, being basically redundant. The only thing they say is if they do need an 08 crank pins done, then could we do them? So we said yes, that's fine. We've done a lot of work on the machine, done the electrics on it, done a lot of mechanical work on it. Now, we were promising you a look at 1420. Well, here it is. Can't say it looks terribly impressive at the minute, but there she is. The wheels have been profiled, ready to go back in. The axle boxes have all been done. We dealt with the front end, the cylinders and the piston rings and so on have all been replaced. Need to get the wheels back in and sort out the rest of the chassis, but we've got to build that boiler and two new side tanks for it. The other part, the side tanks are exceedingly rusty and basically had it. We had a lot of work done on it back in the late 90s at Tyseley when it was overhauled there, and the back end was virtually rebuilt by Tyseley, so there are no issues with that. It's got two wheels in it, so that's good. At the back, a bit of work still to do. So that's 1420. A lot of painting work's been done on it, but as we were saying earlier, work's been on hold on it for a while because we've got to concentrate on earning money on the contract work at the minute. Now, that more or less concludes my trip round.
Well, we've had a couple of requests. One request is that people are asking if they could have a quick look at the running shed, so we'll perhaps finish off by going out there.
Yeah, let's go.
Just another couple of questions too about when we're reopening. As I said at the beginning, we feel that it is not viable to run trains at the moment. There's no point in running trains unless we have enough money coming in from revenue from those trains to cover the costs of running them. So we're not going to be running normal trains in the foreseeable future. However, we have signed up Polar Express to run our Christmas services, and tickets for those are certainly on sale at the moment. So if you look at the websites, you'll find all the details all about that. But let's go to the running shed.
Right, out through here. What have we got outside the door? A diesel shunter.
It's Class 04 2246, which is owned by the Devon Diesel Society. It's just having some work done on it at the moment. It's got some nice new doors actually. Should we have a look at the new doors on the shunter? Very smart. There we go. Nice shiny new doors.
Yeah, that's good.
They're going to do the rest of the engine to match now.
Excellent. Yes. Go to look at our prairie next door, 5542. That's Rayleigh's Pride and Joy, owned by 5542 Limited. It's now here for long term, isn't it? We've got a long lease over it, and 5526 or other prairies out on hire, although it's had a quiet time so far, which is unfortunate. And our little Wenford Bridge Weymouth dock tank 1369 back in traffic this year after a major overhaul, but unfortunately again being sidelined for a bit, but let's hope that's not going to be for too much longer. So if we can get together a working scheme and it looks as if there's not going to be total complications with social distancing and so on, then we'll be running the trains as soon as we can.
Barnes has said thank you very much, most informative, Richard.
Thank you, Darren.
And apparently the doors on the 04 were painted by Lee Ablett.
Oh, right. For me.
And I see we've got Locomotive 5542 watching as well.
Have we?
The owners group, yeah,
All
so
right,
they'll be
okay.
pleased to see their pride and joy there.
Yes, that's right. Well, they pay me well for having given them good write-ups.
Right.
Excellent.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. If you can make it to visit our site at Buckfastleigh, please do. We've got a play park for the kids. We've got lots to see and do. Come and see the original Leemore tramway locomotive. The original signal box, Buckfastleigh North, is open, and you can even have a go put in levers. Various other bits and pieces to see. And we've got a lot of measures in place to keep you all safe and healthy. Lots of regular cleaning, face masks on the inside areas, etc. So we've spent a lot of time planning it to make sure everyone stays safe whilst they visit us. So it'd be great for you to come and visit. And if not, if you're able to donate, our donation pages are still live on Virgin Money Giving or via our website. And anything that you can donate will be really appreciated. We've still got quite a few months to go before we're going to be able to start having any sort of income come in with the Polar Express. So anything you can do will be really appreciated. So thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.